All right, so let's start with negotiation skills and how to do negotiations. So here is the thing. When we come to a meeting, we have a scenario that there's a set of expectation by the homeowner, and we have a different set of expectation. Meaning that the homeowner, basically what he wants is he wants an estimate, he wants ideas, he wants our design, he wants all the information he can get from us, and then to tell us what, I want to think about it. Is that correct, more or less?
Yes.
Yes. A lot of salespeople, what they do, they come to the lead and they start to pitch for their sale, for their product, for their company, for their everything they have. Well, in my opinion, we have to set up the frame in a different way before we start to pitch our product or service. And in general, as a general idea, I believe that selling with questions is much better than selling with pitch. And the reason is because when we ask the right questions, first of all, we reveal very important information about what are the needs of the client, which is part of the 5-step sale process to find what is the need. And we will talk about the sale process. But more than that, when we ask questions, then we force the client to think about different options and different scenarios that can happen. Now, let's see how it works. So if I come to the lead and I will start to pitch for my product, it's like shooting in the dark. It's like shooting in the dark. Because I don't know yet what is important for the client. I don't know what he wants. I don't know why he wants to do the things. So start to pitch on the company, on the product will not be as powerful. So the first thing that we need to do, and I said it before, so write it down, is before we start, I want to ask you a few questions that will help me to serve you better. Now, why this is so important? Because this set up the expectation that right now, I'm not the one who's going to give information. I'm the one who's going to ask questions. And when I get the agreement of the person, you know, if I ask you a few questions that can help me to serve you better, is that okay with you? When I get this okay from the client, then that means that right now he's on the same set of expectation as me. He does not expect now for me to give him information, but for me to ask him questions. And when we set up this frame, that gives us a totally different operation for the lead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Did you try to use this sentence in your leads?
Yes.
And how did it work?
Good.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So now let's see what are the questions that we want to ask. So before we talk about that, I want to ask you a question, guys. Did you ever wonder why a good idea is a good idea? Good question, no?
Yes.
What turns a good idea to be a good idea? I mean, the same idea can be good for someone and not that good for someone else. What is the difference? How do we know that it is going to be a good idea for the client? So let me tell you something. A good idea is a good idea because it matches people's values. That's why it feels that it's a good idea. Now, how can we match someone's values if we don't know what their values? So here's the question that we want to ask, and I talked about it before, but I want to remind it, okay? And the question is, what's important to you about blank? And in the blank, I fill up the project, whether it's a kitchen, a roof, an outdoor design, whatever it is. What's important to you about the project? And let them tell you what's important. And when you ask that question, then you will be surprised, okay? The people will give you few answers, but this is not all their answers. So after you ask it once, what's important to you about the project, but don't say the project, say the project itself, whether it's kitchen, what's important for you about the kitchen, or what's important for you about the bathroom, about the roof, or whatever. And they will give you few answers. You write down their answers. And then you ask, what else? What else is important? And they will give you few more answers. And then you ask one more time, is there anything else that is important? And they most likely will give you another few answers. Those answers, guys, that's their values. This question of what's important to you about, the answer to this question is the person values. So now when we have these values, after we ask this question, we have these values, we know where to aim our proposals, our suggestions. The entire lead should be aimed on those answers, because that's what will make the person to feel that this is a good idea, because it will match his values. It will fulfill his criteria. Now, after we ask it about the project, we ask it again about the contractor. What's important to you about the contractor that you're soon going to be hiring? Very important to add soon going to be hiring, because this is called planting seeds in the person's mind. We always have to keep planting seeds in the people's mind. Now, let's talk about negotiation a little bit. And how do we solve problem in negotiation? So here's the thing. When we do negotiation and we have the topic, whatever the topic is, if I will ask enough time, usually 3-4 times, the same question that I'm going to share with you in a few minutes, I'm going to get the same answer from all the people in the world. And it doesn't matter if I start to talk about a kitchen, about a car, about a table, or about a trip, or about a shirt. It does not matter. I will get the same answer. So let's give it a try. Who wants to help me here? I can barely see you because it's very small, but let's see. Sagi, can you help me?
Yeah, of course.
So Sagi, I want you please to choose a topic.
I want you to say me. Choose a topic.
Yeah, what's the topic that you want me to ask the question about?
Vacation.
Vacation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vacation. So the idea now that I'm going to do...
Wait, a subject related to construction.
Okay, what is the subject?
I'm asking.
Doesn't matter for me. I will get the same answer anyway, so it doesn't matter for me. You want subject that matter for construction? Let's choose something.
Talk business. I actually prefer the vacation answer.
Okay. Vacation. So the idea now of what I'm going to do what it's called chunking up. Chunking up is basically go to higher level of ideas. Now, you have to understand there's different type of level of ideas. There's higher level of ideas and there's lower level of ideas. Higher level of ideas always talk about abstract. Lower level of ideas talk about details. So how do I go to the abstract from the vacation, which means going up, and how do I go down to the details from the vacation? So to go up, I will ask a question.
And those questions is for every topic?
Yes, for every topic. Doesn't matter what the topic is. Now look what's going to happen. Sagi, the question is for what purpose or what's the intention? Okay? So I will ask you, Sagi, vacation, I understand. You want vacation. For what purpose?
Relax.
Relax. I will write relax. That's perfect. Now let me ask you, what's the intention of relaxing?
Get better energy for the rest of my year.
Get energy. Perfect. What's the purpose of getting more energy?
What's the
Get
purpose?
work. Get into my goals quicker.
Get to my goals.
Okay, sure.
Perfect. Now let me ask you something, Sagi. Relax, get energy, and get my goals. Having all of that, what it will make you feel?
It will feel me. It will make me feel happy and
Happy.
satisfied.
Happy. This is the word happy that I will get every time. Doesn't matter what is the topic. If I will chunk up high enough, I will get that vacation makes you happy, that the kitchen makes you happy, that the roof makes you happy. Now, let me ask you something. What is easier to sell, vacation or happiness?
It's a
Good question.
What is easier to sell, vacation or kitchen? Happiness or kitchen?
Happiness.
What is easier to sell, car or happiness?
Happiness.
Happiness. Because in the end of the day, if you think about it, the whole purpose of the life, of living, is to be happy, isn't it? So this is the higher level of idea, to be happy. Now, when I connect the topic for you being happy, that's where I need to start my negotiation, that you're going to realize the connection. Now, I want to start to chunk down and get the details, because the details will give me the criteria of what you want to do in your vacation, or what you want to do in your kitchen, or what you want to do in the specific area that the topic is about. So in order to chunk down, okay, I will ask a question: what specifically or example or examples. So if I will go and continue with the vacation, I will ask you, so you want to go vacation, where specifically you want to go?
Mexico.
Mexico. Where specifically in Mexico?
Playa del Carmen.
Playa del Carmen. Do you have a specific hotel in mind?
הקסטה של הישראלים.
No, on the 4th Street. Airbnb.
Okay, perfect. So now that I know your criteria, because I will keep asking you, what else, what specifically, where do you want all the details of your vacation? I will start to ask you. And then when I want to give my proposals for your vacation, where I'm going to start?
With my answers?
With your happiness.
Oh.
So I will link again. So a moment ago, you said you want to make a vacation. And I will repeat your answers so you can really relax, so you can really rejuvenate your energy, so you can really, really have the power to continue enriching your goal and really feel happy. Now, Sagi, does that talk to you, what I just said?
Yep.
Why it's talk to you and not to anybody else in the room?
Because I mentioned that I want to be happy in Mexico and Playa
Because this is your ideas, exactly. And I'm just repeating your ideas back to you. That's why it feels a good idea. Because I give you exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, when we have problem in the negotiation, when we have issues in the negotiation, the issues in the negotiation will be when we talk about the details, not about we talk about relax or get energy or get your goals or feeling satisfied and happy. Over there, we will not have any rebuttal. We will not have any problems. We can have problems at the lower level. Okay, you know what? Instead of Playa del Carmen, I will send you to
Tulum?
Tijuana.
no Tijuana.
Tijuana. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
No?
No. You see? So now, if I don't have, let's say I don't have anything in Playa del Carmen, I want to send you somewhere else. So I will tell you something like that. I know it's very important for you to feel relaxed, you know, and rejuvenate your energy so you can then, when you come back, really focus on your goals so you can feel satisfied. What if I give you a 5-star hotel for a much better price on a private, beautiful beach? Is that okay with you?
Where is the beach?
Private beach.
So, what's that?
I think it's a legit question, no? Where is the beach?
It is a legit, everything is a legit question. Everything. Since I don't know where it is, I don't have the answer, you know, but I can keep answering, you know, with your criteria. It's in Mexico. It's near Playa del Carmen. It's a walking distance from Playa del Carmen, you know. So I will try to fulfill your criteria. But what if I don't have your criteria that I can fill up? Then I will have to go up to happiness and see what else will make you happy.
Okay.
Okay? And then chunk down again to the details of what I'm giving you, as long as it maintains your criteria for happiness of what you want. I will still be able to give you suggestions about that. Now, again, remember that we said that we're not giving one proposal, we're giving 3 suggestions. So at that point, I will be able to give 3 suggestions that one of them has nothing to do with what you want with your criteria. And it will be really cheap. And the 2 other ones, one will be almost what you want, and one will be exactly what you want. And then I will allow you to choose which option you feel more satisfied about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I will want to ask you, when I show you the different options, the different suggestions, I will want to ask you with your words, where do you think you can be more relaxed? Which of those resorts you feel will give you more energy? I will have to keep using your words. This is the reason why I told you from the very first meeting, the most valuable information that you get from your client is their answers.
Okay. What
Yes.
if the customer
Mm-hmm.
think they did their homework right and they know what they want and they're locked on, you know, some idea? How can we shift their idea with side question? Because like they're prepared for our question, they know they want to be happy, but they don't. I'm not zomimitan. Don't go with us with that.
Mm-hmm.
They think they know better than the reality. They're not connected to the reality.
Okay.
And they believe themselves.
Of
But
course.
reality is not the same. In reality, you cannot get a 5-star hotel for $20 a night, but they think they can.
Okay.
Not even.
So what is the question? How do I show them otherwise?
How you shift their and with like without
Beautiful question.
yeah.
Beautiful question. Beautiful question. So I'll give you an example that happened to me 2 weeks ago. Okay? 2 weeks ago. One of my clients sent me his son for coaching. And he told me his son is 22 years old. And he told me, Eran, I gave up. I don't know how to deal with the kid. He's a good kid, but he sleeps every day until like noon. Doesn't wake up, doesn't do anything. Hardly do school. You know, I don't know what to do with him. So when he came to me, what was the first thing that I asked him? What's important for you about life? And what he said, I want to be successful. Now, I can start to pitch to him that in order to be successful, you cannot wake up at 12 o'clock, right? Now, I'm sure that his parents keep doing that all the time, and it doesn't work. So what I did in order to shift his perception, okay, is I asked him, that's perfect. You want to be successful. What time do you wake up every morning? He tells me about 11:30. So perfect. Do you know any successful people? Maybe you know personally, or maybe celebrities, or maybe friends of your parents, or your parents themselves. Do you know somebody that you consider successful? He said, yeah, I know many. So, okay. What time do they wake up and start their day? He said, very early. I said, all of them? He said, yes, all of them. So, okay. So if you want to be successful, then what do you have to do? First of all, is wake up early, isn't it? And since then, every day he sent me a text message 7:30 in the morning to let me know that he woke up and he already started his day. His parents called me and tell me, Eran, what did you do with him? How come he start to wake up early every day? Because I came to him through his model of the world, through his ideas, through what's important to him. Now, if somebody wants to do a vacation for $20 a night, yes, there are places that you can pay $20 a night. Chusha b'Sinai. Right?
Yeah.
So there are options. And if someone wants and he's locked about his option, you should show him that his option is available. But it's not what he really wants. So for example, if somebody tells me about a bathroom or about a kitchen, I only have 10,000. Then what do I do, right? That's the question?
Kind of, yeah.
So what do I do if they have only 10,000? They want to spend only 10,000. How do I break their beliefs?
You asked them if they've seen anybody else that did a bathroom for 10,000.
What's that?
You ask them if they've seen anybody else, they know anybody else that did a bathroom for 10,000, like they have.
Great question.
That's what you're
Great
talking about.
question. What else can we ask?
What is important in the bathroom that they want to do?
Yes, because then let's say that they will tell me I want a jacuzzi. So, okay, let's do a list of just the material, how much it costs, and go online to Home Depot and show them how much all the material costs, just the material. Now you can show them, for example, a prefab shower that is all plastic. And even then, it will be 13,000 or 14,000, not 10,000. So you show them that the option is available, but it's not what they want. But instead of telling them that's not what they want, you want them to do the conclusion that this is what they wanted. Because once the conclusion will come from them and not from me, there is a chance that they will change their perception about it. Does that make sense?
It does.
So every time that you want to challenge someone's belief about something, the most important thing that you should do is asking them questions that will shake the earth under their beliefs. I mean, I can tell to my realtor that I'm looking for a house, help me to look for a house. What the first question he will ask me?
Where?
How much?
Where and how much? So if I want, to have, and that's very important point, when I go to a lead, I always want to know what is their budget that they had in mind. It doesn't mean that I will sell them for that budget. But when a person will tell you how much he has in mind to spend or to invest on the project, you are in a much better scenario, don't you? Now, most of the time, 99% of the time, when I will ask a client, what is your budget? How much you want to spend on this project? They will start to get defensive. They will not answer. Right? Yes, no?
Yes, they're gonna be defensive.
So,
Or they're
obviously,
quiet. They're gonna they say, I don't know.
they will say, I don't know. They will say, I want to hear from you. They will say different things, but they will not want to reveal me what is their actual budget. So how do I then shift them around in order to give me their budget? Remember that we talked about stories, and stories and metaphors are the most powerful technique that we have in order to shift people's perception. Now, a story doesn't have to be a long story. It just have to have a conclusion that is being concluded by the homeowner. So a good question to ask him is, how long did you buy the house? And start to talk about the house. So when you were looking for houses, how did you find this house? Did you have a certain budget for buying a house? Did you go over your budget? Did you find a great deal? Because the way that I know, and that's what I used to say, the way you buy a house in America, actually everywhere, you have to save money for down payment.
Mhm.
So let's say that I saved $100,000 for down payment. And then once you have the money three months in your account, you can actually go to the bank and ask them for a pre-qualification letter for approval, pre-approval for mortgage. They will give you a letter for the amount that they approve you for the mortgage. Let's say they give you 600,000. So altogether you have 700,000. It does not matter that I want to buy a house in Malibu that costs 5 million. My realtor will not take me to see houses in Malibu that cost 5 million. Why? Because it's a waste of time for him and for me. So he wants to know my budget. And same here. Again, remember that the first question that I told you to ask is that I want to ask you a few questions that will help me to serve you better. Is that okay? So one of the questions should be, what is your budget? And when they don't want to answer that, say, listen, I've done kitchen for $30,000, $40,000, and I've done kitchen for over $100,000. I've done bathroom for $15,000. I've done bathroom for $40,000. It makes no sense to spend now 3 hours to do design if we are not on the same page. I'm here to help. If your budget is 20,000, it will not serve anyone if I will make you a design that will cost $100,000 to do. And vice versa, if you want to invest $100,000 in your kitchen remodeling and open the floor plan and all of that, it will make no sense for me to do for you a basic design of a $30,000 kitchen. And when you open the conversation like that and you have good rapport with the client, they start to realize that you are the person they can trust. So even if somebody tell me, I don't want to tell you, I want you to hear from you. I say, listen, I can do it this way or this way or this way, that price or that price. There's different material, there's different things that we can do, different quality. So it's totally up to you. And I put the ball in their court again, in their hands. Because in the end of the day, if I will not ask those questions, I will not know where to aim myself. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Any questions so far? No. Okay. So let's. Yeah.
A reason to throw out numbers of different jobs when you're showing them like pictures of jobs, like this bathroom was 25. This actually.
Yeah, but this is not called stories. This is called price conditioning.
Yeah, price conditioning before we.
Yeah, definitely. You must say that because that starts to put a picture in their mind of what reality is.
Perfect.
Okay. Now let's talk about the 5-step sale process.
5-step.
5-step sale process. What is the steps we have to take when we do the sale? So what is number one? What is step number one? Step number one is creating rapport. How do we create rapport? Now we're going to summarize everything and connect all the dots. How we create rapport? How do we enhance rapport? That's right, matching and mirroring. How do we create rapport? Matching and mirroring, that's right. Who here tried and really did matching and mirroring? How did it go?
Didn't work? I've noticed when I was when we had the same like body language, it was like way much more smooth and easier.
Exactly. And this is your job to maintain the body language same as your client, because this is what will create the unconscious trust that we're talking about. And the more you do it, the more you stay in the house, the longer time you have to actually affect the client, to actually influence the client, to actually shift their mind. Because remember, what we believe right now, it's not what we're going to believe in 5 minutes from now or 10 minutes or 1 year from now. We can change our perspective. People do it all the time. So this is rapport. This is step number one in the sale process. Matching and mirroring, not only to their body language, but also to their tonation, also to their breathing, also to their words. Talk to them in their words. Now, what is step number two? Step number two is asking questions. This is step number two. So we pre-frame it with, before we start, I want to ask you a few questions. that will help me to serve you better. And then I ask whatever I want, such as what's important to you about the project, what's important to you about the contractor, why you didn't do it until now, what are you afraid of, what is your challenges, what do you really want to do, you know, all of those questions. And really listen to the answer, because I always say God gave us 2 ears and only 1 mouth. So we listen as double as we speak. Because when you do active listening, you actually even enhance the rapport and create even more trust. And people like to talk about themselves. People love to talk. Let them talk, especially when you deal with elderly people. Let them talk. Be their friends. Show them how you can help them. Show them that your company and your present is exactly what they're looking for, because it matches their criteria. So that's why you're asking the question, to get their criteria and values, and then you match it. And then we go to step number 3 in the sell process, which is very, very important, because without it, it will be very hard to sell, which is find a need. Find a need. Now, if I find a need for the client, I have to establish it in such a way that the client will see value in resolving that issue. Because if the client will not find value in resolving the issue, why would he spend so much money? There will be no justification for him. So we have to find a need and establish the need with the client. The next thing we have to do is link the need to our product or service. What it means to link the need to our product and service. Well, since we already have all their criteria and values, because we elicited it and we got it before, we now have to connect what we are going to do for them and how specifically it will answer all their values and all their criteria that we got in the beginning of the lead. So my service, just like I showed with the vacation, I want it to be a place that he will feel what? Relaxed. So I have to repeat those words to him. Relax. Refill your energy so you can go back to work and set up and reach your goals easier and really be motivated about it. So in the end of the day, you'll really be satisfied and happy. Sagi, look at me. Show me Sagi. How did it feel when I repeated those words again?
It makes sense more. It feels better.
You see? And we didn't even talk about that specifically with you. We talked about totally different topic, but all of a sudden I repeated your words. It elicited something in you, didn't it?
Right.
That's the power of the words. Although they're only 7% of the communication, that's the power of using the right words, which meaning using the client words, because that's what really talks to them. Make sense?
Yeah.
So again, the most important notes that you can take in a lead is not the measurements. It's the client answers to your questions, because this is what you will have power to leverage later on. Now, the fifth step of the sell process is what?
Closing.
Closing.
The most important.
Now, I know that Ariel know the rule because he used to work in a company that this rule was on the wall all the time. The ABC rule. Do you all know what is ABC rule?
No.
Always be closing.
Exactly. Always be closing. Now, what it means always be closing? It means that the closing is not a separate from the entire lead. I cannot run the lead in a bad way and then expect to have few magical questions or few magical statements that will close the lead. It will not happen. Always be closing means that we have to have it in our mind from before we even got to the lead. Now think about it. Would you spend $5,000 with someone that his energy is very low and you don't feel very comfortable around him? Would you spend $5,000 with him?
No.
No.
Give him 5.
Yeah, exactly. Not even $50.
Said 5.
Not even 5. Not even giving him a coupon. But, and that's a big but, people love to be around people that have higher level of energy. So the closing actually starts before I even came to the lead. It starts with my energy. And here I want to teach you something. I don't remember if I showed you that or not, but I want to teach you something. And it's called physiology of excellence.
No.
Did I talk to you about physiology of excellence?
Nope.
No. So I want, who's in the end of the room on the right-hand side?
Ari.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up? I want to do something with you. Please stand up for a minute.
What's up?
תוריד את הראש.
אבל מהכיסא.
תוריד את הראש.
Yes.
הוא יגיד לו לכופף את ה...
Okay. Now, remind me name.
To be sad now?
Okay. Ari, what I want you to do, I want you please drop down your chin,
Yes.
drop down your shoulders, just like so, and stand like that looking down. Okay? Beautiful. What I want you to do now, I want you to recall a happy memory, a happy moment that happened to you in your life. But stay in this position. Don't raise your head. Don't raise your shoulders. Try to remember something happy that happened to you in your life. Can you remember? Huh?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yes. And how does it feel? Does it feel happy or it feels stuck?
It was amazing.
Huh?
It was amazing.
I'm sure it was amazing, but I'm asking, how do you feel now when you're in this position? No. Don't open up. No. Stay in this position.
Yeah,
Can you still feel those energy?
yeah, absolutely. Feels so good.
No, you can't. You move your body to feel this energy.
Yeah, of course. I had to do that.
Exactly. But when you are like that, can you have this energy?
Oh, no.
No. Thank you. Exactly. You have to open up.
I have to.
Because when we are in this position, we cannot generate energy.
You can be happy and say, you can be sad and smile.
Exactly.
Cool.
Thank you. So physiology of excellence means that I always have to stand up tall. My cheek is up, my shoulder is back. And I don't move around or stand like that or stand like that. I stand still. This is physiology of excellence. Because at that point, you have access to every state of mind that you wish. When you are in that position or in bad body language, you don't have access to all those states of mind that are resourceful and powerful. So physiology of excellence is how we enter to the lead. When I left my car, I have to make sure that my clothes look okay, that I look okay, that there's no, I don't know, asher from the cigarette or from the food that I ate in the car or whatever. I have to make sure that I'm clean. I have to make sure that I smell good. Because there's no second chance for first impression. So it's very important what the people see when they open the door and they see you for the first time. It's very, very important. So after we did that, when we're talking about closing, we always want to aim our suggestion to their criteria and values. And when it's time to close them, we must ask for their signature. We must tell them at least 3 or 4 times during the lead what is the process they're going to go through the entire project. We must tell it at least 3 or 4 times. Why? Because we know it. That's our job. They don't know it. Most of the people never did remodeling in their life. If they did, it was many years ago. They need to know what they are going through, because that will ease their mind and give them confidence and give them knowledge. Because if somebody tell me no, what does it mean?
Not now,
Not yet.
not
I
yet.
still have questions.
Or it's
There are
too,
things that he doesn't know. And if there are things that he doesn't know, how can he feel comfortable to go ahead and do that? So if somebody tell me, no, I want to think about it, what should I tell him then?
What do you need to think about?
I'll give you best price, no?
No.
Before I ask him what is it that you need to think about, I have to remember, I have to agree with him. I have to give him a little bit of a feedback on his shoulder. And I would say, perfect. I'm happy that you want to think about it, because that means you really find value and interest working with me and with my company. Aren't you? Do you see how I shift it around to him?
Can you repeat
can
it,
you,
please?
Because it means you really fine.
Eran, can
Thank
you,
you. Yeah. I will repeat it. If somebody tells me I want to think about it, I will tell him, perfect. I really appreciate it that you want to think about it. Because, and this is the important thing, because that means you really find value and interest in working with me and with my company, don't you? And I close it with don't you on purpose. It will be very hard to a person to answer and no after this sentence. Linguistically, forget now about what's going in his mind. Linguistically, it's very hard to say no on a yes/no question when it had the statement before. And then I want to reveal, so what is it specifically that you want to think about, that you still want to think about it? What is the one question that you didn't ask me, that once you get the answer to this question, you will feel totally confident to go ahead and get started. And then we use double binds. Double binds is questions that giving two options, two-ended options to the client. For example, I cannot ask a client, so when do you want to start? Or when the best time for us to start the job? I cannot ask that. What should I ask instead?
You want to start on Monday or Tuesday?
Exactly. Give him two options. When is better to start, Monday or Tuesday? Do you want to use my pen or yours to write me the check of deposit?
Mm-hmm.
Those are double bind questions. Now think about it. I want to ask you a question. I don't remember if I asked you this question or not. So if I did, just let me know. The mountain behind my mother's house, does it snow in the winter or does it not? What do you say, Ron?
Depends.
It depends. Okay. Ariel, what do you say?
Where your mom lives?
Where my mom lives? Ellie, what do you say?
What time of year? I guess same thing.
So pay attention. Everybody wasn't sure if it's snowing on the mountain behind my mom's house. So some of you said it depends. Some of you where she lives because they want to know the topography. And somebody said what time of the year. But nobody had a question or a doubt that there is a mountain behind my mother's house. Everybody accepted that as a fact. That's the power of asking questions when it's connected to a statement that comes before. So you say a statement and then you ask a question about the statement. When a person will answer the question, in their mind, they accepted the statement that came before the question.
Can you give example?
Yes. For example, just what I said before. So what is the one question that you didn't ask me? That when you ask and get the answer, you will feel more comfortable to go ahead and get started. So when a person will ask me now a question, that means that what? That he accepted the statement. It's like I want to date somebody. Let's say that I want to date someone. Okay? And I will ask her if she want to go out with me, then the answer can be yes and no. Or if I ask her, okay, I'll tell her there's a beautiful new place that opened, when would you like to go? Wednesday or Thursday evening? If she answers what it means.
Interesting.
What's that?
That she is interesting.
That she's interested, exactly.
Interested.
Exactly. So that's why questions are so important. They make people engaged. And you want your client engaged with you. You don't want to be a storyteller over there that just give him all the information and jump like a monkey, to entertain them so they will sign the contract. You want to give them value. You want to give them the feeling of trust. You want to give them the feeling that you are the right person for them. Now, remember that, and I think I talked about it, but I just remind it to you again. If I go to a meeting, hold on, I have a senior moment. Okay. If I go, no, I forgot what I wanted to say. Hold on. We were talking about when do I have a better chance to sign a contract with my client? When I go to him for the first time, when I meet him the first time, or if I meet him for the third time?
Third time.
Third time. But I don't want to go there 3 times. So what can I do to have the feelings that it's the third time that we are meeting?
Go outside the house.
Go outside and come back. Very important to go outside of the house and come back 2 times during the lead. First of all, it will allow the couple, if it's husband and wife, to talk between them about your suggestions. Second of all, the second time I enter the house, I don't knock on the door. I just open the door and get in as if it was my own house. So the entire situation, the entire energy in the house is already changing. It's like a friend came, somebody we know. Now, here's the thing. If I'm dating someone new, and let's say we get along together, there's always tension about who would say first, I love you. Yes or no? Yes. But once the man said to the girl, I love you, she will feel more comfortable to tell him back, I love you too. Yes or no? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. So how do we do that in the lead? And what do we want the client to tell us in the lead that is equal to I love you? Or what's that?
When can we get started?
What about if a person, what about if I tell someone, you know, it's really weird, but here in my stomach, it feels warm. It feels like I know you from somewhere. It feels that we didn't just meet. I know you from somewhere. That's how it feels. It's weird, but that's how it feels. I feel very strong connection. And if we really have strong connection, what the other person will tell me back?
We do.
Huh?
We do. I feel that too.
Yes. And if a client will tell me that he feels that he knows me for a long time, is that a good thing?
Yes.
Very good thing. But remember, it will not come from him. I have to say it first. I have to say it first. Now, don't get me wrong. You cannot say something like that out of the blue if there is not connection. But if you do matching and mirroring, and if you do rapport, and if you match his words, then he will feel this way. Guarantee. And then you have to bring it to his awareness that that's how he feels. How do we bring something to people awareness? We just start to talk about it. We just bring the topic to the air. Now, Eli.
Yes.
Turn the camera a little bit. Eli, as you sit here, looking at the computer, looking at me and listening to what I have to say, you probably find value in all those techniques. And as you find this value, you probably start to get excited about the way you can really use it in your leads in order to make more money, don't you?
Yeah.
What did I do? What did I do now?
You told me that I got value from you.
But I put it in your mind by what? By doing what? By pacing current experience that you already have, which means I told you at the beginning of the sentence, as you sit here, looking at the computer, listening to me, right? That's what I said. So I repeated 3 things that are actually currently going on in your experience. You're sitting, you're looking, you're listening. I didn't have to get your approval for that because this is current experience that I just mentioned to you. And then what it does, it allows your unconscious mind to keep trusting everything else that I would say. Because it checked me 3 times, check, check, check. All right, we can trust him. And then I suggested something that you might start to feel excited about how you can use this material in your leads. That's not the current experience. That's something that I seed those plans in your mind. And that's exactly what you need to do to your client. As you sit with them, tell them, as you sit here, looking at me, listening to all the ideas that we're talking about, you probably start to get excited about your new kitchen, don't you? And as this excitement starts to build, you probably have a vision of how your new kitchen, how you want it to look. So please share with me, what do you see in your vision? You see how it builds the excitement?
Yeah.
So please use this line as you sit here, looking at me, listening to what I have to say. This is the basic sentence. And then you can put whatever. You might start to feel the excitement of having what you want. You might start to feel the excitement of ending the search for the right guy. Insert whatever you want in there. Build their excitement. Remember, we talked about, and we're going to finish with that. We talked about I will just remind you briefly. We talked about the emotions that the people go in the lead, right? So when we meet them, they are in stress state of mind. They know we're coming to sell them. They don't want to buy. They don't want to be sold. I'm sorry. So they have stress. They have resistance. The next phase we need to get them is being calm. Being calm. That's the reason why we say before we start, I want to ask you a few questions that will help me to serve you better, because that will calm them down. And when we do all of that with matching and mirroring and rapport, it even enhances the experience that they have. After calm, they need to be what?
Happy? Excited?
Happy is in the end, remember. Excited is before happy.
Trust.
Or they have to be here before, between calm and excited. What state of mind, what do I have to build in them? Trust. So this is the emotion that I have to get them through, from stress to calm to trust to excited to happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So please write it down and start in your mind to generate ideas. How do you take the people from stress to calm to trust to excited to happy using all the tools that we learned? Any question, guys?
Yeah, I have one.
Please.
You mentioned earlier that we're gonna take them through the process of how it's going to look because they never did remodeling at home.
Right.
Example of how to do it, because there are probably many ways to do it.
What's that?
Any example for that?
Yes. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill up the paperwork. You're going to give me the deposit check. We're going to pull a permit. Then we're going to send the crew here. We'll start the preparation. We'll put plastic so dust will not go over, because as you said, it's very important for you to keep the house clean and livable. And this is one of the main important things of our company that we pay attention to. You see, you link the need to the service. Okay. And then we're going to start the demolition, which will take about a day and a half. And then we're going to start the rough plumbing, rough electric, rough mechanical. After that, we call the city for inspection. Now it's not in my hand how long it takes the city. Sometimes they come the next day. Sometimes it takes them 2 or 3 days to show up. In that time, we will not be able to do anything. We will cease the work until we have the signed inspection, because we work by the law and by the code. Once we have the signed inspection for all the rough, we will start to put the drywall. We'll start to put the cement. Once that is done, we'll pass inspection. Then, you understand? I just tell them the entire process of what's going to happen.
All right.
Because when I explain this process, few things are happening. Number one, if I repeat it few times, 3 or 4 times, not one after the other, but let's say in a span of, after I explain it once, I wait 10, 15 minutes, then I explain it again. Let's go over that again. That's what's going to happen. A, B, C, D, E. So number one, he will feel comfortable because he will know what's going to happen. Don't forget, the client give you his most precious assets in your hand. He must feel comfortable and trust before he give his most expensive assets in your hands. That's why he need to know what's going to happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Without doing that, it will be very hard to close a deal. Because when they have fear, when someone has fear about something, he will not move forward. He will keep looking for another way. And the most important thing, not that everything is important, so there's no such a thing as most important, but remember that I asked you one day, is this a long line or a short line?
Compared to what?
Exactly, compared to what? We cannot make decision if we don't have anything to compare it to. So give your client few options, not one proposal. Give them few options. Leave them the options on the table when you go to the car to bring some samples. Let them review the options when you are not there. And then when you come back, do you have any question? Did you have time to go over the different options? But tell them they need to go over the option when you go to the car. You know, I'll go to the car to bring some samples. In the meantime, I want you to review those different options and see which one you love the most. So then when you come back from the car, they already made some decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
If the customer already have another estimate for like half the price we're offering, and it's actually the same, because with a kitchen there is a different stuff, right? But when it's a fence, it's just, just like 2 or 3 things you can change. So what if it's the same product but it's half the price?
Then I would ask him, listen, it's a great price. Please give me his number. I want to hire him as a subcontractor. But let me ask you something. Why didn't you hire him on the spot? What didn't feel very well with him that you decided not to give him a chance, although the price was really cheap?
Because the price was cheap usually. That's why they don't give a chance.
Exactly. But when I ask you the question, I instill the fear in your mind. You answer yourself why you didn't hire him. Maybe something was fishy. Maybe he didn't have a license. Maybe you felt something that is wrong about him. Always with question. I cannot tell him, oh, there's no way he can do that for you for that much. No, I will never say something like that. I say, how didn't you jump on the opportunity? What made you feel scared or not secure, no trust that you didn't jump on the opportunity? Call him now before he changes price. Listen carefully. I had a client one day. It was one of the first leads I sold in construction. That was like many, many years ago. They sent me to do Stacko. I didn't even know what Stacko means. It was like really in the first few months that I was working. And I go to the house and the lady opened. I knock on the door and the lady opened. You know how they open just like that and look at you from the door? And she tells me, come from the back. I go from the back. I go through patio that is totally ugly and meluchlach. And I go inside the house. Did you see the movie Addams Family?
Yeah.
Mr. Adams is sitting over there smoking Camel with no filter, one after the other. And I give him an estimate for the job, $42,000. He gives me a business card of another contractor that it says on it 1,800. 1,800. I gave him 42,000. When he showed me the 1,800, I told him, listen, call this guy right now next to me. Hire him. At that price, you're stupid if you're not hiring him. Then he started to tell me what was wrong with him. I said, oh, okay, then this is my price. And I left. I told them some other things, and I left. I left him in business card. So if you need my help, I will be here for you. I called the office and I tell them, listen, don't send anybody to this lead. It's a really bad lead. There's no money over there. 10 minutes passing by, I get a call from the office. The girl is looking for you. Give her a call. I call her and she tells me, Eran, I have a coupon 20% off. What does it mean when she calls and tells me I have a coupon 20% off? That she's interested. So she asked me, so how much it will be? I told her, you have a coupon, I will honor the coupon. So she asked me how much it will be. I said, 35,000. Over the phone, she told me, Eran, come over, you got the job. When can you start? So don't be afraid to challenge your clients with whatever they show you. Don't be afraid. They lie most of the time. But if you push them through the right questions and navigate them through the right set of emotions, then they will feel compelled to work with you guys. You will not have to sell them. They will want to buy from you. And that's a huge difference. Any question, guys? Yes, no? So thank you very much for all your time. I really appreciate it. I hope that you find a lot of value in the lecture and in what we did. And more than that, I hope that you really start to utilize that, not just in your work, but in your everyday life in order to live more happy life, and always look on the bright side and generate energies. Generate energy, be energetic, because people love people that has high energy. So be the one with the higher level of energy in every situation that you're at, except a funeral. Okay? And Ariel, I want to ask a favor from everybody. So I will send you now a link to my Google page. If you can write me a review on this Google page, I would appreciate that a lot. All right?
Sounds good.
Guys, thank you very much. And again, you have my phone number. So if you need any advice, if you need to talk, by all means, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to assist you with everything that you need. All right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yalla, go, let's make some sales.
Yeah. Thank you, Ran.
Sales, I want to hear that it was a good month. All right?
Sounds good.
When it's good, we will have more meetings.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a great rest of the day, my friends.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.